Hello guys, I'm gonna show you my full process on how to create stylized rocks for video games or landscapes or whatever project comes to your mind. First of all, what I would do is just going to Pinterest or to ArtStation and just gather some references, see which ones do I like the most, and try to create my own version. So let's jump into Pinterest. Let's see what we have here. So yeah, something like this would be cool. So if we look here, these are like different shapes. We have a big one here, another one here, and it's like a combination of them. Tiny here, tiny little rock here. So now I'm gonna start creating my own composition. I'm gonna start inserting a cube and then some other cubes. So I'm gonna skip some parts of the composition, but I'm gonna be giving you tips along the way. Okay, so like you see, I have every rock overlapping, and that's exactly what we're looking for. You could have the same composition or something similar, it's okay. And that's going to Modular. Activating the poly frame and going to polygroup. All polygons, 3 sides. We click on one polygon, it says that we're subdivided, so we're gonna have to delete the subdivisions, and then click again. You see now every rock has 3 sides. And why I'm doing this, because I'm gonna subdivide this, and you can already see that like the flat edges, we lose them, right? And we don't want that. We want a flat surface on every rock. So we're gonna click on deformation, and we're gonna click in polish by groups like this a few times. Now I'm gonna keep working on my composition, and you should be working on yours too. You don't want the pile of rocks to have too many rotated angles. Like the vase, it has to be flat because it's like closer to the ground. Another thing that I do apart from this is inflate them in order to have a more stylized look. And when you're finally happy with your composition, you could pick the or flatten edge, how to group every rock, and just put some detail on it like this. In order, you have to go through every edge in order to get a stylized look. You could go and put some cracks in it, maybe with some of these brushes. Go with an alpha, maybe go and put some more detail, polish it a bit maybe. I mean, you can do whatever you want. But of course you should go through with every rock and through every rock. I think I'm gonna skip this part, right? And you'll see what the next step is. Once you're done in here, we're gonna polish, but not in the formation, in geometry with the clay polish function. And you could play with the settings, but I'm gonna leave it as it is. I'm gonna leave it as default and click once, and you can see if we zoom in, this polishes or edges and gives us a stylized look. You can't overstress it. If you click a few times, you're gonna lose your shape. So with one or two clicks, we're good. I think I'm gonna delete this, delete hidden, put it all the way here, put a mask, and level out everything, and then reduce the resolution. We're gonna have to do it again, even less resolution, like this could be fine. Yeah, we see that Zbrush gives us good topology shit, and we see that we have a clean transition, but in order to clean it up a bit more, we can click on clay polish again, and we see that the borders and the transitions are even greater. So yeah, what I usually do is decimate this to go quick, and you're gonna always have to retopology it if it's a game ready asset, right? But well, for this one I'm just gonna go with the presets we have on the decimation master plugin. We're gonna click on 75k, just let Zbrush do his job, and this would be our high res mesh. We're gonna save it as Rockpile 2. I'm gonna click on custom 3k, and you can see 4000 polys. It respects our shape, so it's good to go. We're gonna have to unwrap it though here. I like it to do an automatic UV unwrap. So let's click on here and let's export it as Rockpile 2 low. And then we can move to Substance Painter. Rockpile 2 low. Let's click on it. Let's click on the texture set settings and bake our mesh maps. The high res mesh. We're gonna bake it. Alright, I'm gonna go and do a breakdown of my stylized rock material. There's a few ways of doing this. You could go with the stylization tutorial, and there's many good tutorials on hand painted textures on the internet. But yeah, I created my own material. This would be it, and this is the base material. Let's see, with just the color and the roughness, some edge highlights that we could retouch, and we can increase the highlights. And as you can see, I have a pattern with the curvature mask just to affect the walls of the rocks and not the borders or the edges, right? So I have a fill layer. It has a grayscale generator with some grunge rock pattern. I blurred it out a bit with a blurred slope filter, and then we could make it more obvious, but I want it to be more subtle, so this is good enough. What I also have, this is a mask editor with a blur, and I have a cracked stone image, like a texture of to put some more cracks in it. You could increase the curvature, but I don't want it to be like a cracked stone, so it's just a subtle effect. It's good enough. So yeah, we could add more things. I try to leave it simple, as simple as I can, because then in Unreal you could always mess with the shader and put some grass on it with the runtime virtual textures. You could do whatever you want with it. Put another some other patterns, or stylized lighting, adding a filter, clicking on just color. You could make it even more subtle. I mean, that's up to you. That's up to you guys. Whatever you think is best. I mean, if you just want to test it out in Unreal and maybe come back later, put more things on it, this is like a large process. But I mean, I'm good with this, so we're gonna export our textures. That's right. And now we could go to the engine. But before, I usually go to Blender and set up the scale in there. In order to have a good pivot point, I have to reset it on Blender. Let's open up Blender and let's import our FBX. Gonna set origin to geometry, or we could do origin to center of mass surface, and that takes our pivot point to the center of the mesh. Then we could go to options, click on affect only origins, click but just put all the mesh, increase the scale, set the origin to the bottom. I increase the scale to 100 in every direction. I'm gonna have to apply rotation and scale, and then export this, selected objects and geometry, we select the face, and we could go to Unreal Engine. So as you can see, I already have a few rocks in here, few shaders. I am working on a modular landscape on my own, and we have a pretty basic master material for the landscape. We have some vegetation in here, some run virtual textures, mixed with the grass, with the trees. I have some bushes, some flowers, and some columns I did on my own too, like this, stylized columns on the background too, some trunks, the water shaders, the water shader for the river. I mean, we have a stylized tree in here. There's some things that need to be changed, and I gotta keep working on the composition, but let's see. I have some rocks in here too. Let's create another one in here. Let's import our mesh and let's import it. Let's click. You have to click on bake pivot in vertex, and you have to uncheck this in order for this to work. Yeah. Here, I'm not gonna go in too much detail with my rock material. I could show you my master material. It has input for the normal, for the base color, the runtime virtual textures, height blend. We have a height blend lerp to lerp it in the z-axis with the landscape parameters for our metallic, specular, and roughness. But well, you could come with your own material. I recommend to see and to watch stylization tutorials, because there's too many good information in there, too many interesting things to learn. Let's click on the instance. We have them in here, so we double click the instance and we just drag in our base color. We drag our ambient occlusion, roughness, and metallic one, and we drag our normals too, and see what does it look like. I mean, it's a bit too dark for the tones I have in here, but I can change it in here. Change the overlay intensity and the ambient occlusion. Everything is looking great. Everything is looking nice. What I could do is check the ZBrush, and as you can see, it blends with our landscape. Let's see. I could go with a bit of this grass. I put some grass in it, and what else? Some round grass to make it more stylized. And what I also could do is I could go and add some blends it with our mesh, because now if we're going to the select and we move it, the grass and the things move with it, right? I mean, you could go to the Rockpile first, add our instance to our Rockpile, and go to our model, go to the Foliage tool, and just drag it and put it as a foliage type, and we could paint it. Could paint them over our landscape and quickly fill our landscape in just a few minutes. I mean, you could. It's better if you go and place it by hand. It's up to you, but this is a great way to quickly fill your landscape and give it a stylized look. That's it. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something from it. And yeah, see you in the next tutorial. Bye.